All right, it is 1 o'clock on the dot over here on the East Coast. Thank you all for joining us. Looks like we are here ready to get started. Some people still trickling in. This is our second Giving Day focused webinar this month. So if you were at the first one, just to be upfront, this will be a little bit different. The previous webinar, the panel was of 3 ThankView users, and we asked them questions about their Giving Day strategies. And I'm going to be sending a recap email of this webinar, and I'll link to that one as well. If you'd like to take a look, just there for you if you'd like to have that as a resource. And the information I'm presenting on today is really drawn from that as well. It's drawn from their experience and how they answered those questions. The only difference is that in this webinar, we'll be reviewing strategies and we'll actually get to watch some video examples. Just to introduce myself, I'm Delaney Strittmatter. I'm a customer success manager here at ThankView. I probably know some of you through our email exchanges, so special shout out to my clients out there. Not that I have favorites, but if you want to throw your name and your organization's name in the comments, maybe in the date of your giving day, I'd really love to know, who I'm talking to, who's here today. Technology is amazing in that I can speak to dozens of people across the US and Canada from a phone booth in my office, but it feels definitely one-sided. So any feedback or questions you guys have throughout the webinar would be amazing. I'd love to know who you are, even if it's just, putting gifts from the office in the comment box. It really makes my day, so I appreciate it. Before we jump into our agenda, I just want to point out a few resources for guys who are new. Oh, looks like we got a comment here. Hi, Amanda. Wonderful, May 5th, coming up. Awesome, and we have Carrie from California Lutheran University. April 1st, hi. Hi, Sarah. All right, a lot of April, a lot of May. Oh, great, great. So I'm hoping, I have just breakdown before we get to the agenda, sneak peek. It's gonna be a breakdown of different strategies, kind of a checklist to prep for your giving day. Then I'm going to move into just 3 specific examples of how you can use ThankView, incorporate it maybe in a different way that you hadn't thought of, and then we're going to dive right into video examples. And on this page here, I have different resources that if you're new to ThankView, you might not know about. We have a LinkedIn and Facebook community group. These are just a really great place for you to hop in, share some of your favorite campaigns, maybe ask questions. Our partners are really great about sharing their advice. Any feedback they have about their campaigns as well. And then the second, third, and fourth options here, the Medium blog post. We really like to publish, if we have frequently asked questions that we get over and over again, we really want to publish a blog post about it. So if you are running into, like what is a great subject line? What are some video examples? That's a really great place to look for as well. And we also have a YouTube channel. We are a video platform, so it makes sense. We have all of our webinar recordings. They live on that YouTube channel. A few of our client highlights, those are living on our YouTube channel, as well as we also like to do some weird videos. I'm sure all of you got the Valentine's Day video from our CEO, so you can kind of know what to expect from our YouTube channel. And with no further ado, let's jump into what we're going to accomplish in today's webinar. Oh, and actually, if you haven't already filled out the poll, let's see if that's still going. Looks like a lot of people have. If you still haven't filled out the poll, I highly encourage you to do so. It looks like a large majority are in that it's in the next few months and we're right down to the wire, so you are not alone in that. And hopefully you can pull some things from this webinar to kind of move if your giving day is getting into April and May, really help with your planning and strategizing. So let's just do a step-by-step. We're gonna go step-by-step in this checklist from choosing a date to analyzing the results. What does that look like? These are pretty broad stroke. If you are getting down to, what should we be doing on that specific webinar date or on that giving day, really stay tuned towards the why video section. That's where I'm going to be pointing out 3 specific ways where you can really use ThankView in ways that I don't think a lot of our partners know about. These are a little bit hidden, a little bit tips and tricks. So I wanted to point those out today. And we're going to go through some giving day video examples, some of our highlights. One of them was featured in our ThankView Awards. I think it's just incredible. So we're going to take a look at those and watch those together. And then of course, we're going to have a Q&A. And if any questions come up along the way, I will be kind of stopping throughout, but I definitely will get to questions and answers at the end of the webinar. So with all that, let's go ahead and get started. Now, for those of you that your giving day is in a month, or even next week, you might have these steps set in stone. So what date it's on is already set, but I really wanted to break down the steps into really manageable chunks. So no matter where you're at, even if you're just considering having a giving day, you can really work through these steps point by point. So the first one is choose a date. And it may seem obvious, but this decision has several factors to it. So let's take a look at some of those. The date should not compete with any other events or solicitations that are going on at your organization. And just to highlight, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are really good for higher engagement on social, hence the Tuesday and Giving Tuesday. And I really wanted to kind of branch out and say, you can think creatively about what kind of date works best for your organization. And this may seem a little contrary to the first point, saying, oh, don't have any other events or appeals going on at that time, but it's not, because I say so. It's different in knowing what kind of time of the year, what date is really going to work best for your donors. And I'm going to point specifically to Texas Christian University. Harmony spoke on this in our last webinar a few weeks ago. For them, they knew football season is the big time for Texas Christian University. It is Texas, so football had to be it. They wanted to think strategically about having their giving day before Giving Tuesday, before end of year campaigns. So their giving day is in the heart of football season, very early November, but well before all of their appeals. So they have pretty distinct, this is our giving day, and then they move into Giving Tuesday and end of year appeals. So they just really thought about when are our alumni and our donors most engaged with our school? It is during football season. So for University of Miami, Ohio, it's a move-in day for them. That's when there's the most excitement and probably the most chaos, if we're being honest, for their university giving. Seeing new students move in onto campus has always been a huge component to their giving day strategy. And for Step Denver, they work alongside Colorado Gives Day because they know that that has a huge uptick in their gifts for that day. So I want to encourage you, even if you're maybe thinking of next year, even if you can't change the date for this year, just being able to list at least 2 reasons that your giving day is on the day that it is, and working with your team to make sure that that's the most strategic date for gifts and for engagement. Well, let's move on to step number 2, which is to brand your event. This should be complementary to your overall branding, but a giving day's branding should be unique leading up to the day, the thanks after the gifts, the follow-ups afterwards. That should all kind of have a unique look. And while this, of course, means a logo, you can also think of how else you can make the look and feel of this outreach different. Maybe including the same theme song throughout all of your videos, maybe a tagline. I have here 3 different just kind of inspirations to give. This one here is from UMass Dartmouth and their Tabor Time logo. What I really loved about this logo is that it itself is a stopwatch. It is a clock, and that really emphasizes, even just with a glance, how timely someone's has to be. Someone, their gift, their action, their engagement is on a clock. Counting down, has to be within 24 hours. And even right from the get-go, I see that just in their logo. I also wanted to highlight Wisconsin. They did an incredible campaign. It was called Fill the Hill. I don't know the specifics of it. I just know that their lawn was covered in flamingos, and that's all I need to know, really. It was amazing. And their normal branding colors are blue, they're a little bit darker, and this envelope that they sent out their ThankViews with was hot pink. And it just really popped on their email. So when someone clicked on that email and went to the landing page, it popped there. It was just really stood out from all of their other branding. So I encourage you to kind of think along the lines of how can we mix it up? How can this fit and work within our current branding, but look different, feel different, and really get people to click and engage with. And I'll be sending, like I said, slides and a follow-up email, but this is a really great resource. I believe this is San Diego, did an entire website just talking about their branding guidelines for their giving day. I am not suggesting that you need to build a website to have everything written live on the internet, but this is just a good guideline to be like, what should I be looking for? What's a good goal for us? So just really great to brand your event and be ready for that giving day. Now let's move into creating a timeline. I know that these 5 phases are just really a great bucket to put things in for you and your organization. You might say, oh, there's definitely another phase in between 3 and 4. There's something else that we do in between these. But this is just a great way to look at your giving day, from build up to debriefing after the giving day. And so this first phase here is the silent phase. This is where you're doing more of a soft launch for your giving day, letting your current donors know first, giving them maybe behind the scenes or first up status when it comes to giving. And this is also the step where you'll be adding in your current year giving to date, so that when you're starting your giving day, it's not starting at 0. You have gifts in there. It already looks great, even from the get-go, that you are on track for your goal. And we'll talk more about updating social throughout the day, making sure that those updates are going out as well. The second phase is the public launch. This is the social blast, the ThankView campaign, maybe even, yes, a thank you video announcing the details of the event. And spoiler alert, the next slide is about creating a launch video, and this is where that will fit into. And the third phase, this is the day of the event. This goes very quickly, but each hour should be planned, making sure that your staff knows where to be, what to be doing for each part of the day. And the fourth phase is really important, celebrating and thanking people immediately, and celebrating even the small wins in a really big way. Just helps that giving day momentum stay going. And then finally, the fifth phase is debriefing. First, debriefing with your staff, talking about what went well, what can be better for the next year, and then even extending that to your donors, to your volunteers, making sure that the questions you're asking are uniform to them, so you can actually use that data to improve your systems and communications. Because no matter how perfect or seamless your day of giving is, someone will have comments for how to improve it. So definitely listen to that feedback and take what you can use, leave what you can't. I've heard some pretty crazy feedback from giving day campaigns, so some of it might just be complaints, things that you can't change. Take it all with a grain of salt, but regroup again with your team and talk about the things that you found out from donors and volunteers. And just as promised, the next step is creating that launch video. And there's some really important things to include in that. The first thing, and I think people, as they're sitting down to maybe write a script or think about the location of the video, an important thing to keep in mind with that is just being true to your community, what matters to your students, your volunteers, your donors. How can you mention or allude to those values that people really come to expect from you? And just an encouragement here that homegrown content does really well, especially in ThankView. But you can also try out Animoto. It's an editing service. We actually partner with them, so you can have a discounted year subscription if you want to reach out to your customer success manager. We're happy to talk more about what that means. And so in that video, just making sure that you are being true to your community, that you are including the when, where, the why, and the how in the video, so that people can watch that video and know what to do, know when it is. All of that should be included right from the get-go. Yeah, that is the last thing I had on the slide here, just making sure that it has the logistics of the event as well. So very high concept, keeping true content to your community, and then just very specifically when, where, and how do I get involved. And for this one, I create lightweight content. I wanted to highlight a video from Step Denver. Like I'd mentioned, they do a Colorado Gives Day. And Megan Shea is incredible. I wanted to actually pull a quote from her. She asked 4 of her members of the staff to record a quick thank you. And when we talked to her, she really emphasized asking your team, especially from other departments, for their help in thanking donors instead of requiring it. And to quote her, she said, "It's better to allow your team the opportunity than to tell them or require it. You get such better content." So we're going to take a look at the video here. But before we do that, when I say lightweight content, what that looks like is memes, GIFs, cover photos for social, featuring prominent figures within your organization, playing up any inside jokes, and you guys will know what that is for your organization, and really encourage native creativity as well. So let's take a look at the thank you video that these guys made, and noting that this is like at the end of a long work day that they were able to do this and had such a great time doing this. So let's take a look.
Hi, we just wanted to say thank you so much for giving to us on Colorado Gives Day. It's because of this program and people like you that we're able to live such great lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that video. And I actually went looking for what Megan told me about. As they were filming this, they messed up a few different times. But they actually used the outtakes on their social media. And I went scrounging this morning to try to find the video, but it was too far back. But they used those outtakes and that kind of less than perfect content in another way as well. And just made it more fun for the people that they are recording. That really comes through in the video itself. And so I guess kind of the takeaways from this, if I bring it back around to some checklists and some bullet points, is that I'd encourage you to get your staff, your board, if you're at a college or university, maybe the faculty as well, get them on board, get them recording videos. And secondly, don't cringe at those less than perfect moments when they are recording or when you are recording, because they actually might be the best or most successful part of your campaign. It's just really great to note that no matter if you're creeping up on your giving day or it's months away, this is a great question to ask yourselves. And how can you be more creative in asking people to join you in thanking donors? If you're more creative with the ask, it might inspire some more creativity in the videos as well. So just a really great thing to think about if that's coming up or if you are months and months away. And I want to move into step 6, just to give you a heads up, there are 9, so we're creeping up here on our step-by-step. This step is to build your army, and this means tapping into existing volunteers, again, getting faculty, getting staff involved, existing donors, maybe sending a quick request to them. Since they're your #1 fans, ask them why it is that they've given for X amount of years. Challenge sponsors. If you're partnering with other organizations, definitely get them involved in your videos, and just make sure that you're using every tool in your toolbox for leading up to Giving Day, on the day itself, and in the follow-ups. Now, this is a big one. This is planning for the day. And I know this is so much more complicated than one slide in a presentation can encompass, but I do want to give you kind of a framework on how to think about the day. And the first one here is on-site celebrations, what you guys will be having on-site during your Giving Day. And this can look like photo booths, video recording booths for students, for staffs, for volunteers, so they can record videos, maybe having lunch or snacks for them to kind of thank them for their time as well. And again, I'm going to highlight TCU because Harmony is a boss and her team are like ninjas of Giving Days. So I just want to highlight what they did for their Giving Day and kind of getting staff involved on site. They stood in the quad during the times the classes would be letting out, when students are really filling up the quad and going to different classes. And their staff actually stopped students. They asked them to record, just a quick, maybe 20-second thank you with maybe a suggested script, allowing them to do their own thing. And they were shocked by how many students gave their time to record. And it was also a great way for the staff to get out of the office for a few hours, get out of the office, actually interact with the students, and remember the purpose and the point of raising the money for TCU. So I encourage you to maybe brainstorm, how can you get out of the office? How can you interact with people that your organization is helping, even if it's just for an hour or so? Just brainstorming ways that you can really interact with people on the Giving Day itself. And then the second thing here is remote celebrations. This can be on the web, across the country. Kind of how are you unifying remote supporters? Again, just something to brainstorm with your team. What events will take place when on social or online? And speaking of social, scheduling content, both organic and paid. And this will really help you out if this is scheduled beforehand, that you have, the time of day is not going to change. So you can always have the 2 hours, 3 hours left reminders, but also make sure you're getting in there and updating throughout the day. So your army should be retweeting, commenting, liking all of your stuff throughout the day. Make sure you're getting past those algorithms. And then going live is a huge thing for Giving Day. So going live really helps get past those algorithms. There's a really high chance on Instagram, on Facebook, that those get seen a lot more than just a post. So don't be afraid to hit that record button and keep your supporters up to date. And then say thanks. Of course, sending a personalized thank you to your donors in real time is a massive part of Giving Day. For some, real time is within the hour. For others, it's within 24 hours. Just decide with your team kind of what your thanking goal will be and then sticking with that. This means keeping your data clean, practicing how a thank you will look, kind of starting with, all right, someone donates. What do we do? Running through with your team, what does it look like as soon as a donor gives? Who's going to be updating the list? Who's going to be recording the video? Who will review and then send the video? Just making sure there's a leader at each step along the way. And it can be the same person, it can be different. Just making sure that you're ready to thank those donors in real time. And then also rewarding any active volunteers, staff, faculty, board members with some swag or a note, just making sure they know that they're appreciated as well. And within both of these, both in the thank yous to donors, the thank you to volunteers, really stress impact and community in your thank yous. Retaining and motivating existing donors cost so much less than getting new ones. So making sure that you are treating those volunteers and treating those donors right. And then we are into step 9, debriefing. In the follow-up, you can use maybe a plus delta model or the stop, start, continue model, whatever works best. I'm sure you all have your own meeting strategies. But when you are examining with your team, I'd encourage you to make it a dialogue rather than a monologue, encouraging your team to bring at least two things that worked really well, 2 things that you should stop doing, and 2 things that we can change or improve for the next year. Really encouraging that conversation is really going to help you improve your techniques year after year. And if you had any set goals, an obvious one is money raised, but if you had a number of participants you wanted to hit, number of active volunteers, reviewing all of those goals, seeing if they were met, if not, why not, and maybe stewarding volunteers in a similar way to donors for the next Giving Day. And then step 3, and this is probably close to what the guys, if your Giving Day is in November or the winter sometime, you're at this step, is setting goals for the next year. And really the week of or the week following a Giving Day is the best time to analyze what the goals should be for next year. These can always change as you're moving through the year, moving closer to it, but making sure that you have some goals to take away from each Giving Day. That way the next year can kind of build on those. It's really helpful for future you. And that was our step-by-step going through. But like I mentioned, I wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement, share some stats and stories to encourage you to use video wherever you can throughout your Giving Day. And that means for ThankView, for social, don't be intimidated by hitting the record button. The results are just too good to miss out on. And what those are, video is 3 to 5 times more recallable than text. So when you need people to act, and that is Giving Day and the heart and soul is getting people to act, you just need to have that really recallable for them, and video is an amazing way to do that. 45% of people watch more than an hour of Facebook or YouTube videos a week. In addition, 78% of people watch online videos every week, and 55% view online videos every day. So just amazing stats to support that people are communicating through video. That is a huge medium to send your message out on. And with video, you can evoke nostalgia, you can impact with those visuals. And I don't know how great writers you have on your team. I'm sure they are amazing, but it would take them at least a paragraph to create a similar effect to just one frame of video. You have so much connotation with just the visuals of video. So when you need to attract attention fast, and on social media, that is definitely the case, video is the best way to do that. And on top of that, video is more likely to be shared. So whether you're sending a thank you or promoting on social, make sure that you're requesting to share a video. You want people to share and get that message going even further. Just one person sharing a thank you really grows your audience exponentially. And video is one of the best ways to share testimony. I didn't put this as a bullet point, but I'm gonna share it now. The best way you can raise money for your giving day is to really put a face to your cause. This is a common marketing tool as well, but I bring it up because it's just so powerful that people trust people and people empathize with people. And I've used this quote from Wistia multiple times in our webinars, so I apologize if this is a repeat for you. I just think it's such a good one and such a good reminder that I want to include it here again. We are constantly reading each other's faces for emotional cues, trying to figure out whether the bad joke we made landed or failed miserably, and we naturally want to empathize with people. And we do that by reading facial emotions and mimicking them. Smiling is contagious. If you are happy and smiling in your video, your audience will be too. That happiness is then associated with you and your organization, all because you put a face in your video. And I'll be including that article in my follow-up email as well if you want to check out that. I just think it's a really great reminder to use faces in your video. And I promised 3 specific ways that ThankView can help, and we're going to move into those now. How ThankView can help: using the notes or designation field to segment. The first strategy here is if personalizing video by name just really isn't feasible for you and your team and the time constraints that you have, there are different ways to segment. You can segment by designation, by time of day that someone gave, or you can, whatever segment works best for your giving day. If it's a different thing that they have donated towards, you can always include that information with their name on ThankView. And then you can attach it in the notes or designation field. And on the videos page, which is what I have highlighted here, you can sort by designation. You can search for athletics, and all of the athletics will show up on this page. You can click select all and quickly record a video for all of the athletics designations, or upload a video that was pre-recorded by some of the athletes on the team. So just another way of segmenting that thank you. It's still personal, but allows you to group them together, makes it a little bit quicker for you on your giving day as you're trying to get these out really efficiently. So I just encourage you, if you can't segment by name and would like to segment by a different category, maybe using that designation button there and sorting that way is really, really helpful. The second thing I wanted to point out is that if you have social media ambassadors, why not send the video you want them to share right to their inbox? I would highly encourage doing this maybe before the giving day, maybe a day or two, so your social media ambassadors are ready to share. I also wanted to kind of encourage you, because ThankView allows you to design the share message. I can include a screenshot if that's helpful in the comments later, but it allows you to share what the title of your message should be and what the message should look like. So you have a lot more control over how the post that they have looks and feels. A huge shout out to our partners at University of Sydney for requesting that feature. They really wanted their thank yous to go viral on Giving Day, but they wanted control over how that looked and felt. I don't think they're watching us. It is 7 a.m. on a Wednesday morning over there, but a huge shout out to them for that. And then the third and final kind of very specific tool I would recommend using is this video request feature. This is something that's an enterprise feature. It may not be included in your subscription. You can always check that under the My Account page. You can see your details there, but I really can't emphasize using this feature enough. We've mentioned it in a previous slide that it's good to get more faces and videos. And the video request feature allows you to upload a list of students, volunteers, maybe potentially people in your nonprofit that you've worked with to record just a quick video that will save directly into your ThankView video library. And from there, you can download the video for social, or you can quickly turn that video around for a ThankView campaign. So it's a kind of tool that is something might be really useful for your organization. If it's not included, make sure to contact your CS manager on more info. It's just such a great resource. And I know a few of you may have used this before. Is there any tips or tricks, maybe subject lines that worked really well for you to get those responses? I'd love to hear any advice that anyone has if you have used the video request feature before. And then with that, I do want to move into video examples. We are creeping up on 1:30, so I want to make sure we get all of those in and have time for Q&A. I've been chatting for a while now. I'm going to turn it over to TCU, who I've talked up endlessly. I think they're amazing. And we're just going to watch their Giving Day thank you.
Hi, Christina. My name is Caitlin, and I'm a senior economics major here at TCU. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your gift to the Institute of Child Development this year for TCU Gives Day. It really means a lot to us and makes such an impact on campus. Thank you again, and go Frogs!
So really quick, having that student come in, share a little bit about who they are, and again, personalizing it, saying, hey, Christina, and that I just can't emphasize enough how shocking it is to people when they receive a personal thank you video. It's unnerving, I think, for some people. The responses we get are usually directed straight to the student, and I think that's a really great feeling for donor relations or stewardship offices to kind of eliminate themselves from the equation. Donors are talking directly to students and vice versa. So it's just a really great example. TCU, I believe they had all of their thank yous out within 2 to 3 hours of someone giving. So it's just an incredible speed with which they sent those out, and incredible personalization as well. Moving into, we have Children's Medical Center Foundation. This was one of our Thank You Award nominees. It's an incredible video. I will stop talking and just play it because it's so amazing.
Hi, my name is Ava McLeod, and I am a patient at Children's Health. I just wanted to say thank you for choosing Children's and making a gift to help patients like me. Your support means the world, and you're helping patients get the very best care possible. It means a lot to know that you're out there cheering us on and helping us through our difficulties. Without you, I wouldn't be able to be here right now with my love of my life, Tilly. So thank you.
Amazing, amazing video. And I want to move into University of Dayton. They had One Day, One Dayton was their campaign. And just a little bit background on Dayton. This was their very first Giving Day campaign. And they knocked it out of the park. So let's take a look at this one.
Just want to say thank you to all the 5K runners this morning. We had a great morning of sunshine at 7 a.m. I appreciate everybody's support. We had 152 runners and walkers, and Theo was there too. Thank you so much.
Amazing. And one final video to show here. You may have seen this one. Again, it was one of our Thank You Award nominees, and this is their a cappella group singing thank you. They actually came up with a song and performed it as a thank you. I have to warn you, you will not be able to get this song out of your head. It is so catchy. So with warning, let's go ahead and jump into this example.
so lucky to represent Northwestern with our music.
We want to thank you for making all of this magic possible.
And we just wanted to say, from the bottom of our hearts,
Thank you for donating to Cats Give Back.
Thank you.
It's just so good. I love it. So just another example of getting that, maybe more students involved, getting them involved in what they want the thank you to look like comes up with some really creative ideas. So highly encourage you to do that. And with that, I can move into our Q&A portion. I'm gonna go ahead and publish the poll now so we can kind of see where everyone landed. Yeah, a lot with the next few months, right down to the wire. I hope there were some helpful tidbits to pull through there. Let me take a look at the question box here. Awesome, so it looks like just still introduction. So if anyone's still typing a question, feel free to use either the chat box or the Q&A box. Either one works. I know one of the most common questions that comes up again and again for organizations, especially with students, is how do I get my student volunteers excited to share their story and to say thank you? And it's just a really great question, a really great way of, how do I get that great video content? And unfortunately, there's no, magic wording in your video request campaign or in a script for them that's going to get students from their seats and really record a video. But a few things that I suggest are, that the excitement kind of starts with you and your team, stemming from your belief that your mission and your willingness to be on camera. So don't expect something from your students that you guys wouldn't do yourself. And if you're, a hospital or a nonprofit, same goes for your staff, recording a video that, you would do it and asking the same of them. And if students are maybe unsure about recording a video, maybe sending them some video examples. I'm happy to share those if you wanted to email me for more. It's just kind of a relief to them, maybe if they see that these videos aren't super polished. It is just a student being genuine and saying thank you in front of a camera. Might be a really great relief for them. And just give them the tools to make really great videos. If you're sending a video request campaign, just mention like, hey, make sure to flip the camera. If you're using an iPhone, flip it horizontally, helps us out. So things that they kind of forget about if they're nervous about recording a video, just giving them everything that they need to record that. And we actually have a quick video on the recordings page, so just encouraging them to check that out. So from Stephanie, our giving day isn't until September. When do you recommend starting the silent phase? This will be a few months out. So no rush as of, it's still only February, but this does just give first access to your donors. It makes them feel a little bit special, gets that momentum going before you're ready to start inundating your social with all of the giving day stuff. So I would recommend just a few months there. Another question was, has anyone had concerns come up from students who feel like they shouldn't be solicited on giving day or shouldn't have to thank donors? How did you communicate the meaning of giving day and the importance of philanthropy with them? That's a really great question. Like I said, I think TCO, when they're on their giving day, they were shocked by just how excited students were, and maybe because they were kind of thinking similarly to you, like what if we run into this wall of like, how do we get them excited about thanking? And if you have any stats to maybe bring to kind of back up the importance of philanthropy, I know that that would be a really helpful thing, especially if these are students who are receiving scholarships. It's definitely don't want to present it as a threat in any kind, but just bringing as much info as you can and saying this is how your education is really possible is through donors who are giving to scholarships and giving to our buildings and staff. So any stats, any stories you can bring, I think would be super helpful to getting them more excited to share their own story. Ooh, sorry, having some technical difficulties pulling up the Q&A box. Hold on just a moment. I'm not leaving just yet. Yeah, of course. Any other questions? I got my Q&A box pulled up now. It is working well. If not, if you are good to go, I have my email here. Maybe a question comes up after the webinar. Feel free to go ahead and leave and just email me later. But I'm going to stay here for a few more minutes. If people are still typing, no need to rush off. We have a question, has anyone used ThankView for promotion of Day of Giving? Off the top of my head, I can't pull any specific examples, but I do know that that has been used for an appeal and a thank you. The only thing I encourage with, maybe you're considering using ThankView for both, is just making sure that ThankView is still a unique part of their inbox. And that doesn't necessarily mean you can't send an appeal and a thank you. It's just if you are also sending event invites through ThankView, if you're also sending monthly birthdays through ThankView, just keeping in mind how many thank yous is someone getting within the year, and just making sure that that's kind of a unique thing. When they see that, they're actually going to click through, they're going to go to the landing page, and they're going to watch the video to the end. It's just a really great thing to keep in mind for using that as an appeal and a thank you. I know for University of Tennessee, they have a specific logo or kind of image that their donors know. If they see that on a piece of outreach, whether it's mail, whether it's a thank you, whether it's through ThankView, it just says gratitude, and they know this is not asking for money. This is something you can go ahead and watch through and see it's just a thank you. So maybe having something like that for your donors so they know what to expect with the thank you. Oh, Jamie, she promoted Giving Day through ThankView, Central Michigan. Awesome. Did you find any disengagement after that appeal, or was there any advice you might give for sending both an appeal? Awesome. I'm slowly reading through getting to your answer, Jamie. Thank you. So creating 3 videos, sent 1 week before. Awesome. Oh, that's really great. So Jamie pointed out it's all about the data, removing people from the video list as they give. Yeah, and Sherry said, we're using ThankView to recruit giving ambassadors at St. Edward's University. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm excited to see how that goes. Oh my gosh, Eric, that's amazing. University of Idaho took a page from UT Austin. Within a week, had 300 ambassadors signed up. And was this through just sending a thank you video? Was this through sending a video request? How did you kind of get those recruitments? Awesome. Okay. That's incredible. 300. Oh my gosh. Are there any other appeal campaigns, advice while we're here? I'd love to hear more about kind of the other side. I can see kind of what it looks like once it's sent. I can see the metrics, but I'd love to know kind of the thinking behind when you're setting up an appeal versus a thank you, all of that good stuff. Awesome. Any other questions? Like I said, my email is on the page here. I'm also going to be sending a follow-up with all of the slides, so you can look at those video examples. Take a look at, if you like, how the body of the ThankView page looked as well. What should your call to action be? All of those things you can kind of take from those video examples as well. They had really successful campaigns. We're so proud to share these videos. And I'm just really excited for the people who in April and May, your giving day is coming up. Yes, thanks, Lisa. That I'm really excited for those upcoming giving days. We'll have even more videos to share, even more stories. So very excited for that. Thank you all for coming. Like I said, I'm sticking around. I can answer more questions. I can answer questions through email. But thank you all for coming. And I'm, like I said, so excited to see these videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day.